I was able to watch the first 5 episodes of Goosebumps, so here's my spoiler review on the episode. So if you haven't seen the first 5 episodes yet, go watch them, come back to this video, and here's my spoiler review. And now, when I first watched the trailer for this show, I was not excited. I thought it was going to be another Willow, National Treasure show, something like that. But when the first reviews came out, this show had 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, meaning that every critic who watched it recommended it. And then I watched Mama's Geeky and Zach Pop's reviews, because I'm subscribed to both of them, and they really loved the show. And from those reviews alone, I was excited for this show. And it lived up to it. I was really surprised on how much I liked this show. Now, when I first watched the first episode, it was Say Cheese and Die. And then when I first watched it, I'm like, they're spending way too much time building up these characters. Because at the time I didn't watch the rest of the episode yet, so for a 50-minute episode, they're spending too much time on these characters and less on the Say Cheese and Die part. Which I was disappointed when I first watched the episode, because Say Cheese and Die is one of my favorite Goosebumps books. But yeah, Say Cheese and Die is my favorite Goosebumps book, and I was disappointed on how short that was. But I still enjoyed episode 1 at the time. Then I started episode 2. And then I realized, wait, each episode's on its own story, they all connect. They're all connected. They're all on the same universe at the same time, and they're all happening. That is when I fell in love with this show. The Disney Villains series, if you guys read it, you know what I'm talking about when I say this. But you have to read those books in order because of the fact that one villain's origin ends and it leads into the next one. And then book 3 is Ursula, and then book 4 is Maleficent. You read book 4, in like chapter 2, it goes back to Ursula and it explains her death from the Little Mermaid in the 4th book of Maleficent. Hard to explain, but if you read the series, you kind of get this comparison. That is exactly what this show is doing. Episode 1, each episode has their own story, except episode 5, we'll get to that, but each episode has their own story, and then it continues it in the new episode with this new thing from the Goosebumps lore. And I'm really liking that. I'm really liking how they're like building everything in and like building up to something in the end. Now, as far for the episodes, we got Say Cheese and Die, The Haunted Mask, Cuckoo Clock of Doom, Eat Worms, something like that, and then Readers Beware. Those are the 5 episodes we got for the premiere. I know we're going to get more after. We're going to get 5 more, but for now, those are our 5. Say Cheese and Die, my opinion, was the best episode. I think I would rank them on episode 1 would be the first, episode 5 would be in last place. Actually, no, episode 4 is in last place, and then 5, but we'll get there. Say Cheese and Die. Like I said, disappointed on how short the Say Cheese and Die part was, but it did carry over to the next episode. It did have an impact on the other episodes after that too. The Haunted Mask, I also really enjoyed that episode as well. I felt like that was handled very nice, even though I only read partial of the book, and I have seen the episode of the show for the original Goosebumps series. Now, Cuckoo Clock of Doom. I only saw the show version of it, of the original Goosebumps show. And this version of Cuckoo Clock of Doom, it's not the same. Not the same at all. Even now, in episode 1, when he hit the clock, I instantly knew that was Cuckoo Clock of Doom and he was in the time loop. But we didn't get to see that till episode 3. And episode 3, spoiler alert if you have not seen the original show episode or read the book. In the book and show, in the original one, he de-ages. I like that version more. In this version, he's just in the time loop. And he's just trapped in the time loop until he breaks the clock. And then somehow all his time loop versions turned against him and are in like the same timeline now. And they trap him. I didn't really understand that part. And I'm just confused on it. Like, why would a version of yourself turn against you? Like, the character even said this is not how time works. And I was very confused on that. But I still enjoyed it. But it was not the Cuckoo Clock of Doom I liked. Now when it comes to episode 4. Now episode 4, well, like, throughout this entire show, there's just adding on. Episode 4 had more add-ons. But this episode was the Don't Eat Worms part. Never read the book, never seen the episode from the original show. Had no idea what this was, but so far this is my least favorite episode of the show so far. I didn't really like it. It's still enjoyable. You can still get it. You can still have enjoyment from it. But I feel like towards the end of this episode, it was just a bunch of random nonsense that it kind of knocked my enjoyment out of the episode, making it in last place. But still enjoyable. Now, episode 5, Readers Beware. Of what I'm aware of, this episode is based on the Choose Your Own Adventure Goosebumps books, even though this episode never really tackled that. Now, I feel like this episode was just there to explain the plot more. Which it really worked, but I feel like you could have added just something in there to relate back to the books, but it still works. But at the end of this episode is when we get like that cliffhanger where we have to wait till next week, even though I can probably piece together kind of on how it's gonna end up because there's a scene in the trailer. But yeah, at the end of this episode, we found out that their parents had something to do with stealing the box. Which I am intrigued on where that goes. I do know what's in the box, though, if you guys have seen the trailer. Just in case you haven't, not saying it because it hasn't happened yet, so it's not part of this review. Yeah, the episode ended there. I'm excited for next week's episode, just on the way this one ended. But episode 5 as a whole, I feel like there's a bunch of stuff in here that I feel like needed to be, like, added with, like, a book. Like I said, there needs to be a book element in here to make it more pop out, more stand out. But I guess it is a plot episode, but I kind of wish they added something else in. Yeah, so far for this show, I have been surprised. I'm surprised on how much I like this show. I thought I was gonna like not like it at all. It was gonna be boring. When I found out it was gonna be 10 episodes, I was like, oh my goodness. But I'm really liking this show. I'm surprised on how much I like this show. I really like the episodes. I thought this show was gonna feel like a Disney Channel thing, based from the trailer. But it doesn't feel like that at all, and I feel like this show really works as Goosebumps, and I cannot wait till episode 6. But anyways, thank you guys for watching my spoiler review on Goosebumps 1 through 5 episodes. Like and subscribe, comment down below your thoughts, follow my letterbox called The Color Man Movie, and I will see you guys all next time. Goodbye.